Hello, everybody. Bimerau is here. Iron Maiden just released their second single for the new album, and the song is called Stratego. Is the second song on the album, and it's written by Yannick Gears and Steve Harris. It's the second shortest song on the album, and as I expected, they released one of the two short songs before the album, and this is it. Very nice song. So I listened to it about 10, 12 times in a row, basically, to really grasp what it is about. And I listened for the moment that they released live on YouTube. The first thing that I would say is it's a great song, and I would advise to listen in other platforms because I think the mix on YouTube is not very good. Actually, the voice of Bruce sounds Barry in the mix, but when you listen to Spotify, it's pretty much okay. So this is a very interesting song. It's very short, but it's very progressive. So it feels like with this song, they demonstrated that just like Rush in the past, they learn how to make a very progressive song without having to go over 5 minutes even. Why do I say that? Because I think the song structure is quite unusual. A lot happens. There's several different parts, several movements, and it doesn't really follow these clear structures of verse, chorus, bridge, solo kind of thing. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I really liked this. I also liked that it has this Brave New World vibe. To me, that's the album that reminded me the most while I listened to it, even though the intro riff, it's very, very similar to the song Power Slave. Other than that, I think it's a dark song for an Iron Maiden perspective, but that's not a bad thing at all. I think it's very cool, this dark, somber kind of vibe. The other thing is that from the get-go, so when it starts, I mentioned the Power Slave riff, but the other thing that is very clear from the very beginning, the bass of Steve Harris is just fantastic throughout the song, but you can hear that from the very beginning. Then they go into the verse, and yeah, Bruce is killing again in this track. I mean, it sounds like he's just 30 years old. It's unbelievable. Then we get to a very extended bridge with some beautiful vocal harmonizations, beautiful, very well done, the vocals on this song all the way through. The melody of the song, the singing is just fantastic. The bridge is beautiful and gets into the chorus, which is quite okay, but to me, one of the big highlights is then what I call second bridge that only happens once in the song in this format, which is right after the chorus with four sentences. I think is just unbelievable how he sings this part. Is just beautiful. It's goosebump area there, for sure. Then they go back to the verse, which is the only second time that the verse is sang. And then what I found it's really, really cool, they go into the extended bridge and go directly into the solo. So you kind of like waiting for that chorus and never happens. And I think it's really, really cool. The solo is okay, nothing spectacular, but then they have this instrumental in passage before going then finally to the chorus that you were hanging and waiting for almost 1 minute to happen. Now, I must say that the synthesizers, I think it's a synthesizer that goes on there during the instrumental part, and I think below the chorus, I don't love it, but it's an interesting, different choice. When they go back to the chorus after the solo, I think what's really cool is that scream, that bridge number 2 that I mentioned, does not happen after the second chorus. So you're like, I'm gonna go back and listen to the fucking whole song again to listen to that part again. And then there's a bit of an instrumental before closing the song. So I really impressed. As I said, the synthesizer are not what I loved about it. And maybe the guitar tones are quite not so heavy. So I think like the overdrive or the distortion on the guitars is quite light, and I think that was the same for the first single, The Writing on the Wall. So maybe that will be a trend in the album. We'll see. But it's obviously not a deal breaker. But we do have to do some critique there for. But that's really personal taste. I think everything else. Nico McBrain, hitting the drums awesomely. The bass is fantastic. As I said, everything related to the vocals is amazing. Maybe except the mix. Maybe could be a little bit higher on the mix because it's just fantastic performance from Bruce again. So that's it. That's my really initial thoughts after listening to it about a dozen times right after release. And let's see what people think. I think this will be a hit. I think it's unquestionable that this will hit the fans in the head and give goosebumps and work very well live. All right, so thanks for listening. Enjoy the Iron Maiden. Wait for a few more weeks and we're gonna get it. So be mad always.